That's what they said. No, but seriously,
Well,
what do you think?
I think that's a wonderful story.
Director Chang, I think Director Zhang was looking for you.
Oh. All right then. Enjoy your meal.
Sure, thanks, Director Chan.
Hello. What's going on? It was so loud over there, I simply couldn't hear you.
Well, you look happy. Am I interrupting? You still laughing?
What? I thought you had left. Hungry? I'll get you food.
No. I can't eat.
What's wrong? Quarreled with your wife again?
Fuja, ever since you came back from training, you've just never been the same. It's like I don't know you.
How have I changed? Huh? If I'd changed as much as you say I have, I ought to follow Guoxiang and try to learn Sichuan operas, Bian Bian. Now that would be a change.
Quit fooling around. Hurry up with your food, and then we'll talk. Seriously this time.
Oh, yes. Try this tea. This is some Westlake Liangqiang tea Jaquan gave me. What flavor? It's top grade.
No thanks. That tea is all yours. Don't tell me Fang Zequan bought your loyalty with dried tea leaves, and perhaps your silence as well.
Come on, what makes you say that?
Fuja, I went to Hautito commune 2 days ago. The people are living in desperate conditions. But look at what we're doing. Cleaning up, putting up slogans, giving out goods, deceiving everyone who works with us, practicing fraud, sneaking around and covering up everything that makes us look bad. Do you think someone like Mr. Gao would prefer this illusion?
That's up to your standing committee. I can't change it.
What? What do you mean by standing committee? Aren't you one of them? If you'd objected, things might be different. That's 2 votes. I mean, after all, you and Dong Yin are family. If you'd objected, I'm sure he'd follow suit. That resolution, proposed by Fang Zequan, could have been rejected outright.
No, you don't know Dang Yin. He'll make his own mind up. Object or not, Dang Yin won't easily change his stance, and not because of me.
What is your stance then? Where are your party principles? Fuja, in all honesty, I wasn't entirely sure I should be bringing up your issue with Fang Zequan, but it's unbelievable. No matter how huge this issue gets, will you let it take over your principles? And completely change the values on which you base your work ethic?
You forget something. I'm not like you now. While my position may mean nothing, it's symbolic. I'm here because my superiors told me I should welcome Mr. Gao.
So what you're saying is, you would carry out orders, anything they tell you.
I haven't thought it through yet, but I'm not sure. If it's too much trouble to tell them about my conflicting views, then there's really no point. There are other methods we can use, and other things we can do.
I'm not sure I understand what you're telling me.
Remember I suggested to Guo Shong just this morning that when Mr. Gao comes here, he wouldn't want a lavish feast? That we should prepare local snacks instead.
Sure, I know that, but Guo Shong didn't like it.
I paid the kitchen a visit just now and told them to prepare some of our local snacks just for Mr. Gao.
I think I'm starting to understand you. Look, Fuja, first thing tomorrow, they're bringing the veterans to the county for the ideologies. What do we do?
We'll find out.
I guess we'll see.
Dear veterans, welcome. I am...
Oh, I'm just here in case I could be of any help.
I am Ma Guasheng, Deputy Director of Wanxi County. And next to me, from our Yuan Prefecture, their Director, Comrade Fang Shiquan. Over there is Comrade Tian Fuzhe of our county. Dear veterans, you are all revolutionaries and soldiers, and we've invited you here because in a few days, Mr. Gao, from the Central Committee, from the county's Gaojiayuan commune, will be here. Do you know who he is?
How could I ever forget a man like Mr. Gao? He saved my life. He was like my personal savior.
Do I know who he is? I just have to pull my pants down. All he has to do is see my butt, and I can guarantee you he'll know me.
That's right. He has a giant scar on his butt. From when an enemy stabbed him with a bayonet that year.
Ah, you must be Mr. Shu from Houtai commune. And so you must be Mr. Li.
Ah, no, you're mistaken. I am Li Manchang. He's Yao Hei.
Yes.
Sir Shu and Sir Li.
Right.
All is good. Great then. Next up, Director Feng has a few words to say. Let's welcome him.
All right. Okay. Good day. So, everyone here is a Red Army veteran, a hero of the revolution. Hello. You are the wealth of the nation. It was all of you who made the sacrifices and shed your blood those years ago to protect our nation. Without all of you, our lives wouldn't be this good. Needless to say, the party will never forget. Mr. Gao, he is in a higher position now, but he is never going to forget where he came from. And you know what? All the memories he has from the Red Army are nothing short of great. The guerrilla fighters who fought with him back then hold a soft spot in his heart. You can believe it. This time around, Mr. Gao will come here to see you.
Director Feng is right. Over the next few days, your board and lodging will be taken care of by our committee.
Deputy Director Ma Guasheng represents our county committee and will be in charge of this matter. If anyone has concerns or any requests, you can let him know. Or you may talk to me as well. Trust that as long as it's within our abilities, we'll do everything we can to try and resolve them. We're here to make it easy. What do you think? Does that work? Right. All right. Director Ma will explain all the relevant details to you. I have other things to attend to, so I have to go. I do hope you drink, be merry, and enjoy meeting your old friend again. See you.
Director, thank you.
Bye. See you soon.
Oh, Fuzhe, sit here.
No, it's all right. I'll sit here.
Well, you heard him. Director Feng said it. He expressed it very well just now. You are the heroes of our country's revolution, and no less. And that is why we have taken upon ourselves to arrange for a tailor to get you all new clothes.
That's not what we need.
Director Ma.
Sir Chu, you can call me Ma.
But Director Ma, would it be possible to refuse the clothes and take home the cloth instead?
Yes,
Sir
I
Chu,
agree with him on that.
but you would still have to sew the clothes. What we have for you is the best tailor, and you won't have to pay for it.
I am old. I don't need new clothes. We're going to provide us with cloth anyway. I'd rather make my daughter her own clothes. She's grown up, but she doesn't have anything to wear. She cannot even leave the house.
Yes,
Actually, I
that
have
is
a better
true. I
idea.
agree.
Director Ma, how about this? You can give us all that cloth, and we're going to bring some home, and we can do whatever we want with it, or even share it.
My
You
daughter
think that's
needs something
possible?
to wear as
Look
well.
at all of us. We're too
Okay,
old for new
Okay,
clothes.
please.
I mean, you
Silence,
agree with me,
please.
right?
Please. Please. These new clothes are a privilege for you. And only for you. I'm afraid we can't change that.
What does it matter?
but
That can't be the case, can
I
it?
mean, that's none of your business. I mean, it is none of his business, right? Who we give the clothes to and everything. I mean, I don't need that more.
Actually, I don't think what they're requesting for is too much. A small matter like this should be simple for someone in your position, right?
That's what I'm saying. They're doing this.
Yes,
All right?
you're right.
How about this?
It's not.
With regards to your request, I will talk to Director Feng after the meeting. I do promise that not only will each one of you be getting new clothes, you will each be given extra cloth.
Oh, that's
In the next few days, you will be staying at our committee guest house. Your meals will be served at the guest house dining hall. White steamed buns and stew at every meal.
Steamed buns and stew.
They'd like that.
That sounds so good. Can you imagine? White steamed buns with dumplings? Oh, I can't
family
wait.
must
We
be
finished
fed.
this
That
meeting
is true.
already.
I'd rather bring them
What you're all saying is, you'd skip the meals, and you would rather bring the food home. Am I correct?
Exactly.
I didn't
right.
say anything like that.
Yes,
I
Comrade
want the
Tian is
meals.
correct. Yes, our own families are starving. How can we enjoy good food while that happens, right?
Yes, they must be
Yes.
fed as well.
I would rather bring the food home.
What was the agreement that you made for this?
You're a corpse.
Mr. Gao and I agreed those who perform well get a sack of wheat flour.
That is not going to work. What makes us say if they perform well or not? Either way, it will make the veterans feel uncomfortable.
Yes, I understand. We need to come up with something else.
How about this? As soon as today, we give them a sack of wheat flour each, so we can appease the veterans. That way, they do as we ask when they meet Mr. Gao.
A sack of wheat flour each?
Yes, there aren't too many of them.
Right. As your county leaders, we have just discussed how to proceed. Now, as long as all of you can convince Mr. Gao and talk to him about the positive state of our agriculture, you will each be given a sack of wheat flour to take home today. An entire sack.
Director Ma,
Best thing
am
you
I
ever said.
understanding this correctly? If we don't tell Mr. Gao that everything's going well, you won't give us the wheat flour? We're not that dumb. Why don't you just tell it like it is?
Mr. Lee, don't put it that way. You could say we have flour to give, and that in itself is proof that we're doing just fine. If we were as poor as you think, do you think we could give you flour?
So if Mr. Gao changes his mind and doesn't come, will we still get flour?
Yeah, that's right.
Wait,
That's right.
if you attend the meeting, you get it.
I can live with that.
Mr. Gao, this is Fang Shiguan, Wang Yuan Deputy Director.
Mr. Gao, thank you so much for coming all this way.
Pleased
The
to meet
Deputy
you.
Director of the County Committee.
Hello there. Oh, Xiao Chen, it's you. Of course. I remember. You look the same.
You're looking good yourself, like you did back then.
Back then, I'm past the point of good looks. I'm old. It's all of you who are at the prime of your lives.
Mr. Gao, why don't you come inside?
Yes, yes, please.
Mr. Gao. Here.
Who gave permission for such a lavish banquet? Huh? I thought I made it clear back in Wang Yuan. I didn't want anything more than a simple meal, right? Did you not understand what I said?
We are accountable for this. Director Feng and the other leaders were not aware of
Are they
this.
still cooking? Tell the kitchen to stop serving this and serve me a simple meal instead.
Simple.
The staple kitchen food here is made up of local snacks. We could pack this up and serve you that. Please excuse me.
This feels right, doesn't it? Every time I'm home, I get local food. It's just the best. It's so good and cheap too. Next time, We should discourage everyone from giving such lavish feasts. Not when we have peasants living in those conditions. Right? How can your conscience let you eat so well when people are suffering the way they are?
Mr. Gao, we are always looking to improve all our practices, so thank you. Thank you for your criticism, and yes, right, for all the concern you've shown us.
Oh, hold on. The meal that was packed up earlier today. Tell me, what will you do with it?
The food has already been prepared and would be wasted if thrown out. What do you think about offering the meal to your old comrades?
Xiao Chen, he's onto something. That's what we'll do. So, I'll pay for that expensive meal you wanted to give me. And instead, I'll treat my old comrades in arms to it.
Please help yourself.
Mr. Li, I took a trip to Houtaitou Commune a few days ago. Every household lacked food. And life is tough.
You consider that tough? You haven't been to the Shango and Hogo villages yet. 1 pair of trousers per family. And they can only wear them if they have to go out of the house. I mean, now that's what I call hard.
You know, I heard someone mention that you're the type of person who would speak the truth. Would you be brave enough to tell Mr. Gao the truth about life here?
Of course I would. Why wouldn't I? I've carried guns in battle, and I've almost died, I tell you. The truth is not something I fear. I will tell it myself. I've never cheated anyone in my life.
You're a man of integrity.
Greetings.
Oh, hello.
I'm glad you made it today. Come in. Please. The conference room is right inside.
Director Tian,
Let's go. Come on inside.
Yes?
Director Fang wants to discuss Mr. Gao's countryside.
Welcome. Welcome.
Just tell
Please,
Director
come in.
Fang that the forum is about to start. I have to be there.
Director Fang said that Director Ma and Director Zhang are enough.
Fine. Oh, Yuja.
Yes?
Have you talked to Mr. Li?
I asked him just now. And Mr. Li, he said that he'll only tell him the truth. I think he means it. That's how he is.
Keep an eye on the proceedings. They're free to speak. But don't force anything if they don't want it.
Okay.
Good.
How are you doing? Would you say you're doing okay?
Of course. I'm very well. Hear that? As strong as a slab of stone.
All right, okay. Everyone, how about we each take a seat?
come on.
All right?
Yes.
Let's
We better do that.
Come on. So,
Everyone,
yeah,
sit down, sit,
Your
sit.
seats.
I'll take it.
Please.
Over here.
Thank you.
Come on, let's take a seat.
Sit down.
Thank you.
You know, you're fortunate that you made it out alive back then. You were shot by the enemy, and I saw you in a coma. That was 3 whole days, and also 2 nights that you were lying there unconscious. Why? I was so scared you weren't going to survive.
You're right. You're right. I can recall. When I was wounded, you never hesitated and carried me a long way in your back, my old friend. I said I wouldn't be able to make it, begged you to let go of me, and that only I alone should die there. But you simply refused to let me go. At first, you walked carrying me on your back. And when you couldn't carry me anymore, you had to crawl. I noticed you covered in blood from all the crawling you had to do. And my heart was just so broken.
Listen to me. We're all comrades in arms in the same trench. Did you really think I would leave you if I were the one who was injured? I'm sure you would have done the same thing and saved me. Look at all of us now. Look around. We are survivors of the war. We all made it. We were strong, and we still are. I remember one time we were trapped in the mountains, hiding from the enemy. We had nothing to eat but bitter poplar leaves and cold water. To remove the taste, it was difficult. We chewed on tree barks out of desperation. We tried everything we could to make it out alive. We really did. But the hunger was too much. Some didn't make it. Some died. 4 of us. 4 of my comrades perished in those mountains from the hunger.
Yes. Little Swansea died of hunger during that same blockade.
Surviving all that made us even stronger people. And I know it's not easy. But let's move on. Let's not talk about the past. Tell me a little about your lives. How has it been? Tell me what it's like now. Mantang, do tell me, how has life been for you and your family?
Good. Everything's fine at home. Don't worry about it.
That's good. What about everyone else? How is life? Is it okay?
Yes, good.
We're fine.
That is very good. Very good indeed. Oh.
Everything he witnessed in the meeting remained deeply etched in his mind. Zhang Yutze was at a total loss. He had no idea how to proceed. He didn't want to betray the veterans like that, but it seemed as if there was no other choice. And try as he might, he couldn't come up with an agreeable compromise. He was at his wit's end and didn't know how to proceed. He felt like he was trapped and desperately wished someone would come and help him.
Sir Gao, Sir Li, and all those veterans were all in tears. It was heartbreaking to see.
It's been 40 years for those veterans.
Mr. Li, he said that he would tell the truth. He said he understood what you did at the meeting, that you helped fight for cloth and flour for each of them. But it had nothing to do with those things. He could afford to refuse them all. But he saw how old and weak Mr. Gao is, and he was quite worried that he couldn't handle it.
For people like them, lying is more difficult to do. The truth is simpler.
We've meticulously planned out Mr. Gao's trip. He'll head to Shigeji and Lucha tomorrow. Mr. Gao wishes to see the actual state of the countryside. But I don't think he'll succeed.
The plan is, we share a vehicle.
Fuja, do you have a plan up your sleeve?
I've got no such thing. My only plan is to respect Mr. Gao's wishes.
So, Xiaotian,
Yes?
you've been involved in the community for years. Tell me how you feel about the rural areas and the peasants who live in them. And please, you don't need to give me all the details. Just a few words will do. Keep it concise as to how the places look. Someone's already briefed me on that. I'm not interested in that now, no.
Poor.
What do you mean?
The rural areas, the peasants, life. Just one word, poor.
That's a little too broad, wouldn't you think, though? How about you elaborate on that just a little?
Well, it's difficult to explain.
Are you saying telling me the truth is something you cannot do?
No. I said poor. And that is the truth.
I understand. But among the leaders of Wanxi County, this is the first time I've heard the word poor used.
See that? We're approaching Shuangshui village. Would you like a visit? We didn't plan this out, but it couldn't hurt.
All right. That's a good idea. Let's drop by.
Director Ma, don't worry. This isn't our first inspection. It'll be fine. Trust me on this.
To tell you the truth, in recent days, I worried so much that I couldn't sleep at all. If Mr. Gao thinks poorly of us and tells his superiors, the leaders, they won't like it at all, and neither will we.
Tian Futao, he was very careful in planning this out. I see that he knows what he's doing. One more thing. Director Tian Fuzhai is his younger brother. He wouldn't do anything to harm his brother, would he?
Xiao Tian, do you remember when you went to my house and we shared a meal?
Of course I remember. I remember eating our hometown's hand-pulled noodles. I had 2 bowls in a row. I wanted a third one, but I couldn't ask. I'm so glad you offered.
You haven't forgotten what happened that day. That's good to know. So, Xiao Tian, I think you owe me for those 3 bowls. Somehow, you'll pay me back. Oh yes, the Shuangshui village, the one we're going to. That's your hometown, right?
Wow, you remember that? Oh, there's something I think you should know. The village's branch secretary is my older brother.
That's fine. So what have you arranged for me to see today?
I would guess that they are all at the entrance of the village to greet you with much fanfare.
Do you think that this is really the sort of thing I'd want to see?
Honestly, I think you'd prefer to see a village on a normal day.
Why don't you bring me to one of those then?
Mr. Gao, your entire itinerary and route today are strictly planned by the committee. No one has the right to change it. Even if you decided on a spontaneous trip to see your old comrades for a visit or something, I couldn't let you either. I can't just violate the stipulations by the county.
Since you mentioned them, please take me to Mansang and Erhaitz's home in Chengo village.
But I can't lead you to Chengo village. The prefecture assigned me to you just to accompany you and not take you places. Therefore, if you want to go to Chengo village, I can only accompany you, but I can't tell you how to get there.
That's all right. Accompany me to Chengo village. Hey, by the way, those vehicles keeping us company, let's get rid of them.
Well, there's a fork in the road just before the village. We can make a sharp right turn and enter directly into the village.
That's perfect. Hey, did you get that, Xiao Liu?
I did. I'm on it.
Bang loudly when they come, okay?
Be energetic.
Here they come.
Keep it
Energy!
energetic.
Here they
They're
come.
close!
Here they come.
Hit it! Hit
Keep it
it!
energetic.
Everybody, let's go! Come on! Here they come, everybody! Hey, where are you going? Come back here!
Good day. We would like to welcome all of you to our humble Shuangshui village for your inspection and guidance.
Wait, where's Mr. Gao?
A car went straight down that road just now.
Let's go now!
What's going on?
Why? What's wrong?
All right, step back, step back.
What do you think is happening, Branch Secretary?
Shawan went in the direction that he saw the vehicle going. He knew exactly where Tian Fuzhai was heading after all. Although he wasn't certain which leader he was accompanying at the moment. That was the near telepathic understanding between him and Tian Fuzhai, because he and Tian Fuzhai have always been of one mind. All they were concerned about was this village. They wanted the villagers to have a better life. Of course, only the two of them had the courage to come clean with the whole truth.
Xiao Tian, congratulations, you did it.
But it was all on you. I wouldn't have even dared if you hadn't said so. I could end up in prison for kidnapping you, you know?
Oh, you.
Go on, get in.
Yes.
Mr. Gao, Team 1's leader of Shuangshui Village, Sen Shawan. This young man is capable and quite smart, and a good friend of mine.
I thought you said you didn't plan this out. How did this young man come across our vehicle?
Well, sir, I saw your car and I had to just find a way to get to you, no matter what. I had to expose you to the truth somehow. When they found out you were coming to us, they prepared. The leader said that when you would come to see our village, you would also want to come see and visit an average peasant's home. He sounded so sure of that. So they arranged for my wife and I to move to someone else's more affluent house to make it look better. But that's not my home. They even asked the Women's Federation director to be my mother. Everyone knows that my real mother passed away a long time ago. They even gave me flowers so we could make you noodles and convince you that we were living the good life. And tell you that every family eats as well as we do in that moment. We can't even fill our tummies with black steamed buns now, and that's the truth.
Right. Do you know of other false fronts they put up? I need you to tell me.
Of course. They also had Guanse and Shikishe village bring large livestock to the feeding and breeding areas of our Team 1 to make them look fuller. They want to make it look like we have stables full of cattle, but it's all for show.
I heard they borrowed pigs from other villages so that each household had one.
That's right.
Shuangshui's branch secretary is my brother, Ken Futang.
I wasn't referring to your elder brother. Anyone else would do the same thing. It's always one level pressuring the next one. And lower levels taunting the higher level officials. All just so they can earn political capital. Government officials will do anything. And what do they take everyday citizens for? It's unbelievable. The lengths they would go to protect their image. Back in the 1950s, we had gotten so close. We were catching up to Britain, and even America. But what happened? Unfortunately, till now, we refuse to learn from our past mistakes. We've had years to learn, but nothing has changed at all. We still lie and deny the truth like this. When will our people ever realize that this is doing us more harm than any good?
Yeah.
Shawan! What's wrong?
This is the first time I've ridden in a small car. I feel terrible.
Okay,
pathetic.
you can keep driving. Let them go after you.
But sir, how do I pick you up?
Don't worry about me. Just make sure that you lead them all the way to the county town.
Okay.
Sir, that was a brilliant idea.
That was just an old trick of the war era. We played these tricks on the enemy. But now, we're using it on our people. Xiao Tian, you know what? It would be so satisfying just to sit on the soil and cry.
Jungle Village.
Hey! Where's the team leader of your village?
But who are you?
I'm Sun Shawan of Shuangshui.
Oh, team leader Sen. Team leader!
Team leader! Team leader Sen of Shuangshui! He's looking for you!
Team leader Sen, you're
Come.
here.
Here! I've got their team leader!
Oh, you're the team leader of Chang'o.
Yes, sir. I am Lin Laosha.
Right. This is Mr. Gao from Beijing. He came all this way to visit Li Manzang and Su Erhai. Please show us the way.
Sure. Manzang's house is just nearby. Is it alright if we went to his house first?
Sure, whoever is first would be fine.
Great. This way.
Please come. Mr. Gao, you must be tired.
So how are things here?
Okay.
And then there were only 3 left.
Here we are.
and 4.
Come in. Well, Mr. Gao, this is, Uncle Manzang's daughter-in-law. Ma'am, this is Mr. Gao from Beijing. He was in the war with Uncle Manzang.
I know who you are. A few days ago, when he first heard you were coming, he couldn't stop talking about you. Every day, he was so happy he couldn't sleep. That's right. Didn't he go to the county town to meet you?
He did. I got to spend time with him at the county town. But today, I've come to pay a special visit.
But why? I mean, you're a high-ranking official, but you haven't forgotten the people like us. Come, have a seat, please, sit down.
Who is this young girl in bed?
Oh, that's my daughter. She's 17. Honey, this is Grandpa Gal.
Grandpa Gal.
Hello there. Is she suffering from a disease?
She's not sick. She's so young. How could she be ill?
Then why is she in bed then?
The minute that she sees a stranger, she would have to cover herself up.
A stranger?
Mr. Gao, what I'm going to say may be embarrassing. This girl has grown into a teenager, but all her old clothes are so torn and tattered that they are not enough to cover her body properly. She has to cover herself with a blanket, like most children her age are. They can't leave the house at all. But what can we do?
I see. Please, give this to her. Here.
But we can take
We didn't bring anything when we came. Alter this into clothes for her, so that she can leave the house, all right?
Thank you.
Shall we give them privacy?
Of course.
Thank you.
Xiao Qian, during the war, I was in this very village. Nothing has changed.
Uncle Gao! Show Uncle Gao your respect.
Please don't. Please get up.
Uncle Gao, please listen to me. Children, this is the savior of your grandfather all those years ago. Without your Grandpa Gao, he would have died a long time ago. Uncle Gao, when I married my husband, my father-in-law told me that as long as the Li family had descendants, we must repay our debt of gratitude to you. As long as we could do it. And I'm standing in front of you again to thank you. Listen, children, I want you all to remember. This man is the great benefactor of our family. If you can pay him back in your lifetime, your children will pay respect to his descendants in turn. Do you hear me? Now bow!
Mr. Gao, his Wanxi trip has truly opened our eyes and taught us a lot. See, our work in Wanxi County is far from satisfactory. Villages still need food, and even clothing. We must confront reality and plug the gaps, and deal with a gang of 4. We need to implement the policy of taking grain as the key link, and address development, and work to change our status in 3 years. All while doubling our grain output. These goals we've discussed. Right. But I'll stop here. Let Mr. Gao talk. That's right. Let's call on Mr. Gao to give us instructions. Welcome.
Comrades, I would say that the trip to Wanxi this time around has given us a lot to see, and it taught me a lot. And I would like to say to all of you, we need to stop giving all these empty promises and pointless preaching slogans. before Premier Zhou passed away, when he heard that the peasants in many areas in the old Wang Yuan were hungry, he was so sad he shed real tears. Little did I realize that when I went there, I would feel just as bad. You promised the Premier it would take 3 years, to double the grain output in 5 years. But do you see that matters improved at all? What happened to that promise you made? 5 more years. Will you say the same thing? Or are we simply making more empty promises? My comrades, if we go on like this, our party and nation are guaranteed to fail without hope or redemption. And last but not least, while on the road, I met a man, Sen Shawan, a leader of Shuangshui village, a young man. He shared with me everything he knew as the truth. There are issues with the production system. I'll file a report about that with the central government, and it will be addressed. And also, they were ordered to mask the truth by their own county leader. In time, we'll deal with that too.
I'm a